Yeah, ever since she got involved with that stuff, she was really withdrawn. She just wasn't acting like herself.
Threatening your communities and enthralling your children. Tonight we investigate how to recognize the dangerous signs of filmmaking.
I don't know, film is just something I've always been drawn to. Like, even as a kid, I would sit down and watch VHS tapes, and I just loved it so much, and it felt almost more real than reality. So I knew that when I was an adult that I wanted to be the one behind the camera, sort of creating that experience for other people.
Filmmaking can start out as a harmless pastime, but for some, that interest is merely a gateway to something much more consuming.
I could tell it was something that was really important to her, and at first it was harmless, but eventually it started to consume everything she was doing. She was always talking about how she needed to get that shot for her film, or she would rearrange lights in order to make it look better. She just wouldn't stop. It even got to the point that when we would be FaceTiming, she'd tell me to shut up so that she could fix the composition and lighting. It was just a lot.
Yes, Lena was engaged in the beginnings of filmmaking. To help you recognize the warning signs of filmmaking, we've contacted expert Jeff Montoya.
The first phase of symptoms of filmmaking are actually quite subtle. It may include things such as constantly checking the AFI's top 100 list multiple times a day. They may start watching new and obscure films and be more interested in discussing them with people who have no interest in films or filmmaking. They may develop strong opinions about filmmakers such as Quentin Tarantino or Steven Spielberg. They may start saying phrases such as, "Have you seen that new Wes Anderson film?" But what may have began as a harmless hobby becomes much more sinister. The symptoms will become more acute. They may start spending more time editing their projects or begin viewing films not for any personal sense of pleasure, but for academic reasons alone. They will start watching films because of their historical value.
Well, I just picked up my phone and I went outside. I got some friends together and I just started filming, and it came naturally to me, and I just tried to make as many as possible so that I could get familiar with it and comfortable with the process, and so I just sort of dove in head first.
Eventually, it became clear to us all that Lena was in a cult. I mean, she would make all these random excuses about how she couldn't come to dinner with us because she needed to finish her color grading or go on a sound walk. And then one time we saw her with a bunch of her friends, and they were like setting these lights up in a circle and doing the same thing over and over again. We're just really scared for her.
Peer pressure can be overwhelming when it comes to filmmaking. The crews, as they like to call themselves, work together to shoot footage.
Suspicions of friends and family may develop at this phase of filmmaking. It is very important that if you suspect a loved one of experimenting with filmmaking, that you get them help immediately.
I lost my daughter to filmmaking. I don't know when or why it happened. She was always interested in it. When she was a little girl, she used to go kick, 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 kick. We thought it was just still photography at first, and then she went to college. She said she wanted to major in astrobiology. I should have known. She never even took calculus.
So, what do you have to say as a recovering filmmaker?
A recovering filmmaker? Well, that makes it sound like I have a problem. I mean, I certainly don't think so. I'm actually in between projects. I've started drawing up storyboards for my next film, and I've already started looking at characters to play it. I've casted one of my friends as the lead. I'm super excited.
Great.
It's clear that she and her friends really need help, and I just hope they find the resources that they need.